lines of my life. Reading Quran, understanding Quran, pondering over Quran, and then delivering lessons in Quran, lectures in Quran, on Quran. So that is one. And the other is to organize a disciplined party of committed people who devote their lives for an Islamic revolution. You have correctly used the word revolutionary concept of deen. So these are the two parallel lines in my life. The third one, that is the medical practice, was knocked out. It is now 34 years that it had gone out of my life.
What do you think are the real prerequisites for a profitable and wiser study of the Quran, and where would it lead our Ummah?
Actually, for understanding Quran, one has to learn Arabic. Not to be a very learned person in Arabic language, but that much Arabic which will enable him to read Quran with his own eyes without the help of any translator or interpreter. So this is the first prerequisite. Then there should be a real desire that I want to understand the Word of God, and a sincere decision that I will follow Quran. I will study Quran objectively, not subjectively, not forcing upon it any preconceived ideas that I have, but to follow Quran actually. Learning Quran in this way is on one side of the process. Then you should be aware of the contemporary thought and the currents of thought that are there in the world today, especially the social sciences, philosophy, psychology, ethics, then the sociology, and economics and political science and so on, so that the two can be joined together, so that we can preach the Word of God and convey the message of God and the wisdom of Quran to the educated elite of our time.
Dr. Saab, if we analyze the modern system around us, tends to be more self-centered and optional, whereas the Islamic system is God-centered and obligatory. Which one is better and how?
Modern man has become self-centered in the sense that he has become a slave to his animal instincts. And number two, he has concentrated his attention on the world, the material world, the world of matter, while Quran, the word of God, wants us to be self-centered, but the self, the higher self, the ego, the khudi, the ana, just as the Upanishads, one verse of the Upanishads translated into English is, man in his ignorance identifies himself with the material sheaths which encompasses real self. So this is the ignorance of man, that he thinks that this is myself, this body and its needs and its pleasures, and he just forgets that his real self is within that. And this is actually what the Quran has said. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Don't become like those who forgot Allah. So Allah made them forgetful of their own selves. Now the self here doesn't mean body and its requirements. Nobody is oblivious of his body and his requirements. But the inner self, the khudi, which according to the Quran is the ruh, and the spirit has a direct contact with God. It has come from God and it will return to God. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. मुसलमान एक दाई उम्मत का नाम है, ये कौम नहीं है, उम्मत है. رولے اب دل کھول کر اے دیدہ خونابہ بار، وہ نظر آتا ہے تہذیب حجازی کا
ڈاکٹر اسرار احمد کے ساتھ
کبھی یہ مسلمان جہازرانوں کا مرکز ہوتا تھا۔ اب اگلا دور آیا ہندوستان، انگریزوں نے ڈیوائیڈ اینڈ رول پالیسی کے تحت مسلمانوں اور ہندوؤں کے درمیان مرافرت کو ہوا دی، مسلمانوں کو دبایا اور ہندوؤں کا کوئی حد سے گزر نہ دیکھے، اسلام کا گر کر نہ ابھر نہ دیکھے۔ دو قوموں کے درمیان جو نفرت اس دوران میں پیدا ہو گئی تھی وہ ایک آتش فشاں کی طرح پھٹ پڑی، کروڑوں انسان ادھر سے ادھر، ادھر سے ادھر، پہلے مسلمانوں کے غلام تھے اب انگریزوں کے غلام، اور وہ جاتے جاتے ایک بون آف کنٹینشن بھی ڈال گیا کہ یہ دونوں اس پر لڑتے رہے، اس کے نتیجے میں ملک تقسیم ہو گیا۔ مانے نہ کبھی مد ہے ہر جزر کے بعد دریا کا ہمارے جو اترنا دیکھے، اے خاصہ خاصان رسول وقت دعا ہے، امت پہ تیری آ کے عجب وقت پڑا ہے۔